Welcome back to another episode of Goat-Worthy Reactions, where we mainly like to focus on the goats on this channel. And today, I'm pretty sure we're dealing with some big old Billy Goats. Now listen, Rolling Stones are making their introduction to the channel. Now, I was gonna pick a different song, but then I got a donation for "Sympathy for the Devil." I don't know if I don't know if my boy Marcus is messing with me or not, but he knows I'm a Christian, so I don't know. I think he's just trying to rile me up or get me uncomfortable with this title, a little bit of a shock value title. But listen, Rolling Stones, I got the lyrics pulled up. I think I'm doing a lyric video. This is the link he sent me, so sorry if there's a music video or a live one. He wanted me to get deep into the lyrics, so he sent me the lyric video with the reaction. Anyways, make sure you hit the like button right at the beginning right now. Make sure you subscribe right now. Now, if you don't like the reaction by the end, take your subscription back and take your like back. But from what I've learned, that the more I tell people to like it, I actually get more likes on those videos. So I'm gonna start doing that now. I just thought it was always cheesy. That's why I never did it. I'm just like, man, if people like it, they're gonna like it. But some people need a reminder. So let's not waste some more time. Let's get into this. Sympathy for the Devil, the Rolling Stones. Let's go. I'm actually nervous. I ain't gonna lie. Whoa, some tribal drums. West of Congo right there. Some Caribbean feel. I like that. I like that already.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for a long, long year. Stole many a man's soul and faith.
Damn. Okay.
I was around when Jesus Christ had his moment of doubt and pain. Made damn sure the pilot washed his hands and sealed his face. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guessed my name.
Uh-oh. What's his name?
But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. Stuck around St. Petersburg when I saw it was a time for a change.
There's tension building up.
And its ministers, Anastasia, screamed in vain. I rode a tank, held a generous rank when the blitzkrieg raged and the bodies stank.
Oh, is he the devil?
Meet you. Hope you guess my name. Oh yeah.
Let's go.
I was puzzling you is the nature of my game. Oh yeah.
Damn, these lyrics are good.
I watch with glee while your kings and queens fought for 10 decades for the gods they made. I shouted out, who killed the Kennedys? When after all, it was you and me. Let me please introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I lay traps for troubadours who get killed before they reach Bombay.
Bombay.
Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name.
Let me pause it right there. Let me pause it because these lyrics are so dense. These are dense lyrics, man. So who's the this one voice here, right? So who's the lead singer, or who's the, I guess, front man? Do they have a front man? Is it kind of like some of the other bands, a little more humble? Like, who's leading? Is the drummer leading? Like, I got introduced to Eagles recently, and the drummer was singing and doing Hotel California. That just blew my mind. I just feel like drumming is so hard. Like, don't get me wrong, I feel like guitar is hard, piano is hard, but I just feel like drumming is just, it's hard for it to, I don't know, I just feel like a lot of things are happening. These limbs are moving, your legs, you're hitting, like, how does someone focus and then sing at the same time? That just blew me away. But let me see, who's the writer? Is the lead singer the writer? That's another thing. I don't see the title. I don't know who's writing it. It just says verse 1. It doesn't say the writer. This song is sung in first. Oh, here we go. This song is sung in first person form with Mick Jagger playing no one else but Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, I'm having a moment right now. I recently discovered Nirvana. I always heard about Nirvana. I knew Nirvana existed, right? I always knew Kurt Cobain existed. I just thought Kurt Cobain was a solo artist and, megastar or whatever. Never listened to his music or anything like that. I didn't know Kurt Cobain was in Nirvana. I also always heard Mick Jagger in reference in hip hop songs, pop songs. What's that chick, Kesha? Woke up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. We need to check her resume, actually. After she said that, we should probably check her files. But she said something swagger like Mick Jagger, whatever. So I've heard the name Mick Jagger. I don't know what the hell he looks like. Not sure if I've ever heard him before, maybe by passing, but this isn't familiar. So Mick Jagger is in the Rolling Stones. That's where he's from. Okay, cool. All right, I'm learning. I'm sorry. I'm learning. Excuse my ignorance. These lyrics are dense. These are dense lyrics. Already, it's interesting because he's not presenting evil as ugly or obvious. I do like the angle he's doing. He's presenting it as like refined or, wealth, taste, some of the words he uses. It's kind of like charm and just confidence at the same time, right? Because that's actually a deeper way, I feel like, to describe temptation because he is the great deceiver. So because it's the most, I guess, effective and just most dangerous kind of evil, right? Usually it doesn't like introduce itself as like as evil. You know what I'm saying? That's too obvious. It comes polished a lot of the times and it comes, intelligent and attractive to enough people to the point where you invite it in before you even know what you're dealing with. Like that's real evil, right? I'm appreciating this a lot. I've been around for long years, stole many missiles. So that line, I feel like that just makes this feel bigger than just one person or even one moment, right? Because he's speaking like evil has been, I guess, looming, just walking around through history, you know what I'm saying? And just appearing randomly, but patiently existing almost like, side by side with humanity this entire time. Like that's kind of like the picture he's painting. And I like that because the lyrics like kind of they connect evil to the loss of soul and faith. And I think I can absolutely agree with that because that's what it means that basically the damage isn't only physical, it's spiritual now too. And if this is the voice of Satan, then this would make sense because now it's internal and it's what happens when people, I guess, lose the thing that anchors them. You know what I'm saying? So some people faith, some people, whatever. Him saying he was around when Jesus had his moment and all that. I mean, it's a bold line because he's literally placing his voice at the most important moment in history, right? But the suffering of Christ. I just feel like it's not necessarily saying evil had power over Christ or even had a hand in what happened because we all know it was prophesied Christ was always going to do that. But that evil was present is what he's saying. It was present around betrayal, fear, cowardice, and just political convenience. So, is he saying it has a hand in it or it didn't have a hand in it? I don't know. I think it's really good writing though. That's all I know. I mean, that reminds me of a verse in James where it says, each person is tempted when they're drawn away by their own desire. No, they're drawn away by their own desire. And when desire is fully grown, it brings forth death. And I just feel like that fits the song perfectly because the devil in the song doesn't really seem to be, I guess, forcing people as much as he's really just exposing what they already have inside of them. Slick little devil. Keep it going.
Oh, yeah. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. Oh, yeah. Get down in it.
Damn. That combination.
Pleased to meet you. Hope you get my name.
Wow, man. Yo, the way that woo woo has become a part of the instrumentation now, but that guitar right there, I don't know what that riff was about. I don't know enough about guitars to even comment on it, but what I do know is that was so good that they was able to bring in all these sounds at one time. You can't forget the drums. Everything's still happening at the same time, but I love the fact that every instrumentation sounds isolated. It's like they're playing all the instruments at the same time and we're still able to hear them separately. Well, I can anyways. That's how I feel. And the vocal of the woo woo becomes a part of the instrumentation as well. And so it could literally play. That's something someone might think is annoying to hear over and over, but it becomes a part of the beat, and now it's no longer annoying, right? So genius. Let's keep it going.
Oh yeah, but what's confusing you is just the nature of my game. Yeah. Just as every cop is a criminal, and all the sinners saints. This head, this tail, just call me Lucifer, 'cause I'm in need of some restraint. So if you meet me, have some courtesy, have some sympathy, and some taste. Use all your well-learned qualities, or I'll lay your soul to waste. Yeah.
There you go. That was the reveal. That was the reveal.
Oh, you get my name.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was good.
But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. Mean it. Get down.
Ooh, piano.
Ah, yeah.
All those sounds.
Get on down. Oh,
Oh, that guitar is so aggressive. It's cutting. It's cutting.
Jagger, baby. What's my name? Tell me, honey.
Mick Jagger. Oh my.
Tell me, baby. What's my name? Tell you one time.
That guitar.
All right.
Damn. Masterful writing, man. So this must have come out during the 60s, or at least after the 60s, because some of the historical context they provided would be so. It would be so. So dope, man. So dope. Very dense lyrics, very dense. Stuck around St. Petersburg. I'm going all the way back. When I saw it was a time for a change. I feel like now at this point he was moving through history, which like let me know that okay, this song has actually had a lot of purpose behind it. It just goes to show you how much rock music stood for the people. You know what I'm saying? I think that was why they had to end rock and roll. That's why there was a surge. What happened with rock and roll is that they couldn't necessarily control rock and roll, so they had to finish it. What happened with hip hop, it came out positive, stand fight for the people, and they didn't like that. So what they did was they was able to demonize it and really just take control of it, because a lot of the hip hop guys were just people coming from poor situations, and it was honestly, it's just easier to manipulate those by just flashing the money and the big contracts, and then sell them in this 360 deal. Now they're stuck forever. So they was able to just demonize hip hop music and turn it into something ugly like what it is today, right? And with rock music, I think they couldn't do that. Not completely. I mean, yeah, I think all they could have done is what they've done today is water it down. But wow, man, wow. I really feel like this is. Even this part right here, Stuck Around St. Petersburg, this is the part where I feel like the song was starting to just feel like a dark historical confession. It started to like turn for a little bit for me. Like the vibe was changing. Like he was connecting evil to revolution, to murder, to freaking power shifts, to political violence. Not just personal pain, but a collective of human chaos. And killed the son, his ministries, anesthesia, screamed in vain. So the imagery there was a little brutal. I ain't gonna front, but because now we're dealing with real human suffering behind political history, I do feel like revolutions always sound, they always sound cleaner in textbooks and in high school when you was reading about it, as opposed to how it is in real life. And I just feel like the song, it just reminds you of like this is what it looks like when empires really fall. Bodies are gonna fall with them. You know what I mean? And I think that's what makes this writing feel mature. I think because of how gruesome and like not gruesome, but how brutal and whatever it is, it makes it feel mature. It doesn't like romanticize destruction or anything like that. It just shows like the blood, underneath the ideology, and it could do us the most harm, right? So a road tank held a general's rank when the Grieg raged, the body stank. I really like that. That was like almost rapping right there. I was like, boy, he got bars. That was a line right there. That line, it was heavy, and because you can feel like the voice is like, how do you say? The voice is he's placing the voice inside of the war itself. You know what I mean? And like, it's not just what I'm saying is like it's not just watching from a distance anymore, but wearing rank, dog, like riding machinery, like it's standing inside this organized destruction that they're painting. And that phrase, the body stank, I mean, it's important because it strips war from, what's the word? It strips the glory out of war. No medals, no propaganda, no heroic poster, just death. And that's the maturity of, to me, that's the maturity of the lyrics. I just watched Glee while your kings and queens fought for 10 decades for the gods they made. I mean, that line's deep and it's so relevant today still, right? Because now he's pointing at the way people use religion, power, and just, identity to justify either their own violence or the violence of those they admire, right? And I really feel like it's not necessarily God himself, but the gods they made. So that phrase matters though, because it sounds man-made, right? Man-made causes, man-made idols, or just celebrities, and just man-made justifications, really, because this is the kind of things people create. They worship and they kill for this, whether it's materialistic things or whatever the case may be, right? And that to me is different. I shouted out, "Who killed the Kennedys?" when after all it was you and me. I like this right here because this line, I was looking for something like this, because if you're going to talk about historical context and political awareness and society acceptance and stuff like that, you got to talk about accountability, because we all play a role. We all play a part in this, because we never really know the truth. We know we're being played, but we don't know at what cost and what's worth standing for. So it's like there's a lot going on. And I really do feel like this line is really like the biggest mirror in the song. Well, this is like the mirror moment in the song. And I was kind of waiting for that, to be honest with you, because now, the narrator, he stops letting humanity just blame everything that's an outside force, and he turns it back on us, which is important. I feel like, when he says you and me. So, I mean, that's accountability. He's including himself in that. And considering that's like no ego, that's like, I like that. So I'm sure the social climate around this time with the Kennedys he's talking about, I'm not sure if they wrote this like a little after that, but you got like these guys, you got Elvis with If I Can Dream. He wrote that song for the Kennedys and MLK. And I just find it interesting that rock music, predominantly white, were standing on it. They were standing on business and it was representing. And I really feel like they was on the correct side of politics at that time. And, when you consider the social climate around that era, I mean, you got to give it up to them. The political assassinations that were happening back to back, like that was crazy time to be in. Civil War unrest at this point, man. Just war, racial tension, everything was popping off, and I just feel like that line right there really feels like rock music was really just, I guess, forcing people to stare at the violence of their own generation, and I think that might have made a lot of people uncomfortable. I think their whole entire body of work makes people feel a little uncomfortable. And it really reminds me of like Black Sabbath. I'm sure they influenced Black Sabbath a little bit with their speeches towards the government. And you know what? We did a lot of Bob Dylan reactions on the live. We did about like at least 4. And I was pleased to hear Bob, because I didn't know Bob Dylan either, but I was pleased to see how lyrically dense he was. He was very lyrical, but I just love the fact that he stood on business when it came to politics or just society at large. Leonard Skinner, like these guys were really, they had protest music. You can call it that. I think you can legally. I think you could literally call it like protest music. Not because this sounds anything like Dylan musically. Like it definitely sounds nothing. It doesn't remind me of Bob Dylan at all. But because it has the same kind of uncomfortable, just social mirror, I got to give that nod to Dylan, because that's how I learned of him, and that's how I really gravitated towards his music, because of how he stood on business. I really appreciated that. And these guys are doing the exact same thing, and I love that. I love the twist of the title and the context, and just speaking of Satan, and it's genius how they was able to write this and come off with this. And even the rhythm here too, because I don't want to give too much notion to the lyrics, but even the rhythm, I can hear something rooted underneath, like that rock sound, right? Those percussions, I mean, the patterns, they feel like, to me, they feel tribal, they feel Caribbean. I don't know, a little bit of that Afro drums, conga beats, and just all that tension going to the front. You can feel it in the front, but like I said, everything still feels a bit isolated. But I feel like that gives this song its like ritualistic feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't mean that in a creepy way. Just like history itself is just being summoned through this rhythm, and it's perfect. It's perfect. Just at the very just as every cop is a criminal, all the sinners saints. I feel like this is where the song gets a little philosophical, but he's blurring like the categories at this point: good and evil, saint and sinner. Authority and corruption. I feel like that is the point of it, though. That is the contradiction that he's not contradiction, but that is the confusion and the blurred lines that he's actually been addressing this whole time, which makes the whole Satan thing very genius as far as like a narrator angle. Really dope, because he's not saying that there's no such thing as right and wrong. I think that's not what I'm hearing anyways. I'm kind of more so hearing him saying like humans love simple labels, right? But reality is more complicated, because the same person can carry, righteousness, could also carry freaking corruption. We see it happen in politics today. This is sad that this is so relevant, but it is. And I feel like it's uncomfortable but true. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta realize that. As Heads Tails just called me Lucifer. This is when he comes off, right? He just goes directly into it. Because I'm in need of some restraint. That line is obviously where he finally just names the character directly. I kind of figured it out early on. But even then though, the song still feels like it's less about worshiping evil and more about exposing how evil hides inside human systems. Human pride. Pride is the devil, human violence, and just overall human hypocrisy. And I feel like that's why I don't really hear this as a simple song as the devil song or something like that. I'm not getting that at all. I hear it as a song about accountability. I hear it about as the devil is the narrator, but humanity is on trial here. And that is like the most potent message you can give. So if you meet me, have some courtesy, have some sympathy, and have some taste. That's a little unsettling, but because evil is asking for manners, that's weird, right? That's a little bit weird. But that's how you know the writing is just so sharp on here, because, I mean, not who dare would write something like that, but come on, like, this is hella creative. This is very dense though, very dense for rock music. Probably the most. This is Tool level dense lyricism. Tool is very the rock band Tool is very dense lyrically. Shout out to Maynard, but this is just as dense. Honestly, this is up there, and that might just be the whole warning, right? Like, because it makes evil. Well, he makes evil. Whoever wrote this, they make evil sound civilized, which is hard to do, and they did that. And because like, I mean, the devil doesn't always come through screaming, right? We spoke about that. Sometimes he comes educated, man, polished, respectful, powerful, connected. He's got some things you like, and that to me is far more dangerous than hollering and trying to boo. Like, that ain't gonna do it. That ain't gonna do it. Yeah, use all your well-learned soul to waste. Okay, so that I guess he brings. I'll lay your soul to waste. I mean, yeah, he's pulling the mask off at that point. All the charm, all the wealth, all the taste, all the sophistication underneath it. It's still destruction, baby. It's still destruction. So it's cool. He does bring it back. So now we know why Satan is the narrator, right? And I guess that's what makes the song brilliant, though, because I mean, he lets evil speak beautifully long enough for you to almost, I guess, be entertained by it, and then you get comfortable with it, and then it reminds you what it actually wants. And yeah, I gotta give this song a 10. This is a perfect 10, honestly. If I can give it a higher rating, I would. It's a perfect 10. I like it because what makes this song, I feel like, impressive overall is that it never did treat evil like, a cartoon or anything like that. It treats evil like something intelligent, something historical, something charming, and overall deeply human, deeply human for sure. And that's why this feels bigger than just shock value, even with the title and stuff like that. And like, for this being my first Rolling Stone, I'm actually happy this is my first Rolling Stone reaction. This is my introduction, because I can already see why they mattered so much. That's obvious just within the lyrics. But this isn't just a band trying to sound dangerous. I wouldn't take it as that. I mean, this is rock music being used right now as a social commentary, honestly, or history lessons, spiritual mirror, many things, cultural disruption, and all these things are happening at the same time. And yeah, I don't know, real deep, real deep. The most disturbing part, I think, probably about the song is that, yes, The devil is speaking, but by the end, he makes humanity answer back.